What's up, y'all? This is Hammer here again, back with another video. And today, I want to talk about essentially the tragic events in regards to the Buffalo shooter. And the reason why this is important is because people need to understand, okay? When you had essentially a white man, essentially a white teenager, right, who drove to Buffalo, New York, right, and essentially killed multiple black people. I believe this happened last year, right? And it was all over the news. The reason why this was so big is because this happened right after the anti-Asian hate crime bill. Because remember, after the Black Lives Matter, protests, right, and all the riots and everything, right? The whole idea was we need to quote unquote deal with anti-black racism. We need to deal with police reform. And yet, despite the entire Black Lives Matter protest, despite all of the riots, I'm like, despite the fact that the Black Lives Matter protests became popular worldwide, right? Guess what? We were still not able to get any kind of police reform through Congress. And the reason why it's so shocking is because after all of that protest, all of that marching, the global support, nothing happened, right? Nothing was able to be passed and done for black folks here in America in regards to police reform, in regards to racial justice. But yet, although the United States did not pass a police reform or any kind of law for black Americans after the quote unquote Black Lives Matter protest, what we saw is that right afterwards we saw the anti-Asian hate movement. And you had Asians coming out of the woodwork talking about, we're being attacked, we're being demonized, and they were framing black folks as anti-Asian. and like, I remember this moment. I remember that time, and I was like, wait a minute. We just saw George Floyd get killed on camera. We went through the entire summer of protests with Black Lives Matter, right? And yet, despite all of this, Congress could not pass any law in regards to police brutality, in regards to Black Americans. And yet, right after that, we have Asians coming out, and now they're saying that Black Americans are racist, and they're racist towards Asians. And I'm just like, what? But the crazy part is, it's not just that they were trying to frame Black folks as being the true quote unquote hate crime perpetrators, is that they were able to get Congress to pass an anti-Asian hate crime bill just like that. And like, when that anti-Asian hate crime bill passed, I was furious. And the reason is because, look, I have no problem with bro per se, but the reason why that angered me is because I was like, man, look at this. Black folks in America literally will protest for months. Like, they will literally they will literally create movements that will set the world on fire. And yet, despite all of that, can't even get a law through Congress. But Asians, all they have to do is do a simple online campaign called hashtag Asian Hate, and they can get a whole anti-Asian hate crime bill with overwhelming support. Even white Republicans voted for it. And when I saw that, I was like, man. And the crazy part is, right after the anti-Asian hate crime bill passed, the Buffalo shooting occurs, right? Right after Asians spend days, weeks, months portraying Black Americans as being quote unquote hate crime perpetrators, anti-Asian, right? Essentially smearing Black folks in America as being racist and quote unquote anti-Asian and quote unquote hate crime perpetrators. We didn't have a situation of a white teenager going to Buffalo, New York, and gunning down Black folks. And the crazy part is, despite the Buffalo shooting, guess what? Black folks did not get a hate crime bill. And when they tried to ask Joe Biden for it, Joe Biden and the Democrats said, yeah, we may have been able to give the Asians a hate crime bill, right? But y'all not getting anything. I think, and that's when I realized that, black people in America really are the underclass, which is that you will literally have an entire protest movement in regards to police brutality, right? In regards to Black lives in America, and yet despite all of that, Congress can't get anything done. Asians, all they have to do is do a little campaign about anti-Asian hate and frame you as the perpetrator, and they can get a whole anti-Asian hate crime bill passed through Congress. And even after you are gunned down in Buffalo by a white supremacist, they will tell you you don't deserve a hate crime bill. And so what I'm going to cover today is that recently, the person that was responsible for, essentially killing black folks in that hate crime in Buffalo, New York, just got sentenced. And man, look, this guy got sentenced, and let's just say the courtroom was on fire. But let's go ahead and put the video.
Peyton Gendron, the alleged white supremacist that shot and killed 10 black people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York in May of 2022, was escorted out of the courtroom after an audience member rushed at him. A victim's sister was addressing Gendron when the altercation occurred.
You gonna come to our city and decide you don't like black people. Man, you don't know a damn thing about black people. We're human. We like our kids to go to good schools. We love our kids. We never go in those neighborhoods and take people out. Don't do it.
The man who rushed Gendron was removed by officers. The Erie County DA said he will not be charged in the incident. Gendron pleaded guilty in November to murder and domestic terrorism motivated by hate.
There is no place for you or your ignorant, hateful, and evil ideologies in a civilized society. There can be no mercy for you, no understanding, no second chances. The damage you have caused is too great.
The judge sentenced him to a mandatory life in prison.
You will
Now, guys, keep this in mind, okay? Now, she's gonna say what she's gonna say, but keep this in mind, okay? When the police pulled up to this guy, right, they talked him down. I want you to keep in mind, because every time we have a police encounter, right, between a black person and the cops, right, they will always say, "I fear for my life. That's why I had to kill him." But when they, pulled up to this white dude who had just killed over 10 black folks, they literally talked him down. They didn't kill him. And even now in court, he did not get the death penalty. He's only getting life. And for all the people who are saying, "Well, you know what, Hammer, it doesn't matter because when this white supremacist goes to jail, he's gonna get checked." Not really. I promise you, there are probably a lot of white people in jail who are gonna be proud of this. When this white kid goes to jail, a lot of white folks are gonna hug him. They're gonna say, "Yeah, that's right, brother. You went out there and put those quote unquote black folks down." So all the folks who believe in it, who believe that he's gonna get checked in prison now. In fact, what's probably gonna happen is that when he goes to prison, a lot of white folks in prison are gonna protect him. Okay, but see, this, in my opinion, shows that black people in America, right? But see, it's not just America; it's black people globally. Black people globally is at the bottom. And it means that you become a target for everyone. So here in America, black Americans literally will have someone gun them down, and yet no hate crime bill. And yet they'll still be attacked, right? In Africa, right? You will have coups, famine, all kind of stuff, and yet no attention, right? Even in Haiti goes a lot of stuff. It's like this is like a global black issue. Wherever black people are, right? They're typically at the bottom. And when they get attacked and face pain, nobody cares. And like I've started to notice it's a global issue. It's like a global anti-black phenomenon. But see, Stuff like this will happen, and then you will have white folks saying, I don't understand where all this racism they're talking about. I don't understand why these black folks keep talking about race. I don't understand why they don't just pull themselves by their own bootstraps. I don't understand why there's all this hatred when it comes to white folks in America. I'm like, it's crazy to me. And that's what they will say. And yet, despite this, guess what? Black people are still not getting a hate crime bill. But at the end of the day, you know, as hurtful and as painful as this is, we should not let this discourage us. We should not let this discourage the Black diaspora, discourage Black Americans. I think that we have to keep moving forward and have to we have to keep fighting. But yeah, so this guy was just sentenced to life in prison. And he's probably going to be celebrated and protected in prison by other whites there. So, you know, it is what it is. And I think for me, this just shows you why whenever a white person tries to gaslight you about America, right? I want you to go ahead and pull this video and show them the Buffalo shooter. But with that being said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. Y'all, tell me what you guys think about the video in the chat. Do y'all agree with us, disagree with it? With that being said, hammer out.